All right. Welcome back to another episode of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point. We got a regular one today. No college confession because we have some mature adults who need some help making better decisions with their lives. That's what's happening. Just like always, I haven't seen this. The audience hasn't seen this. You've seen this. Just before we get into it, please follow us on social media and spread the word. Um, rate, review, follow, subscribe, like, all those things. It does help us out. We do appreciate it. We're just trying to grow. We're just trying to, figure out what's going on. Karma Cancer Apparel is available. You could check out the link. I love that stuff. It looks really good, honestly. I just want to see something in the wild. If you get some of it, send us a picture of it. We'll definitely get you out there as well. But now that all that's out of the way, let's get into it with initial impressions. Hit me with it. What do you got?
My girlfriend calls me every day on her way home from work, and it annoys me, but I don't want to hurt her. What can I do?
Been there, bro. Been there, bro. I feel this dude's pain so much right now. I fully understand. You got to go into witness protection. It's the only option. It's literally the only option you have. There is literally nothing else you can do. That is the best case scenario for you. That's my initial impression.
Witness protection.
Yeah, 100%. You have to go into witness protection. There's nothing else you can do.
Okay. My girlfriend literally calls me every day at 5:30 when she leaves work and has to tell me everything that happened to her, even though most nights I get to see her in person. Most of the time when she calls, I'm just leaving work as well and just need a minute to breathe. I talk to people all day on the phone at my job, and I don't want to do it again. I'm the type who doesn't want to recall everything that happened to me during the day, but she likes to talk about it. I usually put a smile and act like I'm happy, but it's getting to me lately. She has a half-hour drive home, so she will talk and talk. I feel like an a-hole writing this, but I don't know how to approach it. Question mark.
Weird way to end that.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify. This person is 16. I just saw.
I just saw high school.
I just saw this in the notes.
Confessions. That's what's happening. Bro, I've been there so much. This is a classic high school problem. Honestly, this is a problem that's gonna plague you for the rest of your life. There are people who like to talk, people who don't like to talk. I think it is probably accurate that more often than not, it's the woman who
never mind.
To talk.
It wasn't the poster. I thought it was the poster. It was just a commenter. I apologize. It's not a 16-year-old.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, the point still stands. This is a high school problem. This is a high school problem. It also is a real life problem. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Like, you're stuck doing this. Here's the thing, man. Again, I think it is more women than men who like to talk about their day, but it's not exclusively women. It's a personality thing. There are people who like to talk about stuff, and there are people who don't like to talk about stuff. I am someone who hates to talk about things. Like, I don't care. I just fundamentally don't care. I have no desire to know what happened during the day. I have no desire to know how it made you feel. And quite frankly, if you can't figure it out, I have no desire to know you as a person, because they're not real problems. They're just not. They're fundamentally not real problems. Also, I have my own problems. I have things going on. Maybe I want to concentrate on my problems instead of hearing whatever garbage is happening inside your own head. Like, that's how I feel. Okay. That's just how I feel. I don't, and I have no qualms about that. Like, I don't care. I am not somebody who is like, no, let me say this. I used to be somebody who thought I shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't be this person. I should change who I am because this makes me look bad. People aren't going to like me. I'm not going to be able to date. Whatever. Like, because I should be someone who wants to hear your problems, who wants to listen to the things that are going on and be there for you and all of that stuff. It's not true. It's just not true. That's a good thing. If that's who you are, that's a good thing. If that's not who you are, you're going to be miserable trying to be that person. I was miserable trying to be that person. I tried. I did. I had fun. I really did. Honestly, I really tried. For a number of years with multiple people, I tried to be that person. Like, let me listen and let me like do the stuff or whatever. And ultimately what I figured out was the only time that I was ever happy and that I enjoyed what was going on was when the other person recognized that I just didn't care about what they were talking about. And what that did was it allowed me to do one of two things. Either that other person said, well, you don't care, and I don't want to talk to somebody who doesn't care, and so I'm just not going to talk to you about this, which was awesome. Or they would say, I don't care that you don't care. I don't even really care if you're listening. I just need you to be there because I have to say it or I'm going to go crazy. With the second type of person, there was one girl in particular who did that with me. And she would tell me stories and she would talk about all these people or whatever. And she would tell me about the same people over and over constantly, right? Or whatever. And she would be talking about something and I would kind of try and listen, every once in a while, whatever. Some of it was kind of interesting, whatever. But ultimately what happened was constantly I would say, who is that? Who is, I don't know who Tiffany is. Can you tell me who Tiffany? I honestly don't know. Who is Tiffany? And then she'd figure out some way to tell me something about Tiffany that reminded me about some other time where she said something interesting about Tiffany. And she was like, oh, she's the girl that has 1 foot, I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah. The 1 foot girl. You should just say that because that's way more interesting. But she knew. And so she would say, and I would do it with everybody. But also I was very upfront with her. And I said, like, look, I'm number one, I'm not good with names. I don't listen to people. I don't hear people's names. I don't learn people's names. I don't even try because I'm so bad at it that I just fundamentally don't try. I'm a face person. And if I see you, I'm like, hey, you, hey, guy, like that. That's who I am. That's fundamentally who I am. I don't try and learn your name. I have no problem if you don't want to learn my name, like no skin off my back. I don't care. One of my very best friends in the world today, I honestly didn't know his name for 4 months. That's a true story. Hand to God. I did not know his name for 4 months. Didn't care to learn it. Just decided not important to me. Right. Because I didn't know that he was going to be important. And then it turned out that he was really important in my life. And I was like, all right, maybe I should learn his name. But at the time I was like,
how did you have that conversation after 4 months? Did you like wait till someone else said it and then you started paying attention?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to offend him. I wasn't trying to offend him.
Yeah. He was super important to you.
But not at the time. And then he became super important. And I was like, oh shit, I should learn this guy's name. Because he's actually really important to me. Like now he's really important. He's one of my best friends. But I didn't know his name. For 4 months, I did not know his name. No qualms about it. But that's because that's who I am. And by the way, he knows. He knows that that's who I am. I don't care. I don't like names are not important to me. I don't care. Tell me something interesting.
I don't think make the person interesting. Who knows you for any sort of amount of time.
No, they get it. They get it. Right? Like people who know me and people who understand me and people who like being around me understand that I only want to talk about certain things. I'm not going to listen to a lot of what you have to say. I'm not going to try to be what I probably should be. And I'm just going to unfailingly be exactly who I am, which is somebody who doesn't really care about most other people and what they're going through. Just in general, like that's just who I am. Fundamentally, that's who I am at my very core. a lot of people aren't down with that, and I get it. And those people figure out eventually, they're like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be around you. And I go, yeah, I wouldn't either. If I cared about stuff, I probably wouldn't either. But all the people who do want to be around me, they know that I care about certain things. And like, if I'm there, I'm there. And if I'm not, then, you know, if you need me, I'll be there. But I'm not the guy you come to with a bunch of BS. Or you come to me with a bunch of BS and you either expect me to like break it down for you and say, like, I'm going to tell you some stuff you probably don't want to hear, or I'm not going to listen to you. And so you can talk at me all you want, and I'm not going to remember a single detail. I'm just not, because that's who I am. But like this guy, I did try to be that person. I tried to put on a smile and I tried to do that. And what I found out was I hated it. And honestly, the other person didn't like me doing it because they could tell I wasn't enthusiastic. I wasn't being real. I wasn't being authentic. And so eventually that got on their nerves because they're like, why aren't you're not in this. You're not in this with me. Right. And that's totally fair. That's a reasonable take, by the way. That's a reasonable take to say, like, I think you should be into this more than you are. That's a totally fair thing to say. But it wasn't what was happening. And so if I was this guy, what do I do? Right? Here's the thing. And by the way, just because you don't want to listen to somebody else's problems doesn't mean you don't care about them. Doesn't mean
I was just gonna say I'm a little bit more personal than you. So I mean, I enjoy talking to people. I remember names pretty well, remember details, but I am not someone who can talk to someone after work for 30 minutes and still want to talk to them again like later. Like I don't have the capacity to do that. And like you were just about to say, I could not talk to my significant other after work every single day and not get annoyed with it. That's not within like my ability. And I'm someone who will gab or, you know, talk to someone about stuff when it's fine with me. After work is not that time. And just to your point, yeah, it doesn't mean you don't care, but it's also recognizing that individual needs do matter just as much.
You can't pretend to be something you're not.
Yes.
For very long. You can try, you can pretend, but people are going to see it. People are going to understand. They're going to figure it out. Because people aren't stupid. People, they get authenticity and they get not being authentic. And if you're not being who you are, they're going to pick up on that pretty quickly. So either you're dating somebody who is completely oblivious, or she knows you're not that interested in it and she's just pretending. And my guess is it's probably the second one. She probably knows, but she needs that because there's nobody else who's going to do this for her, and that's really important to her. So what you have to do is you have to figure a couple things out. The very first thing is to say, is this somebody that I want to continue to be with? And if it is, great. And if it's not, then you have your answer. But if you say, I want to continue to be with this person, but if they keep doing this, then they're gonna drive me up the wall, and I'm gonna go on a murderous spree and either kill them or kill everybody else because I can't kill them. If that's going to happen, then you have to stop what's happening. So then you have to decide, okay, can I hear what's happening? Like, can I forget the time of day? Am I able to sit and listen to my girlfriend tell me a bunch of nonsense for 30 minutes a day, every single day she works? Is that something I can do? If it is, then you have one answer. If it's not, then you have another answer. But either way, you're going to have to tell her, look, I can't do this right after work. I don't want to talk to you at 5:30 every day. If you're okay with talking to her otherwise, then you could say, hey, you know what? I'll talk to you at 6. And I know your commute will be over, but hey, we might be in person and I'll talk to you then. And I have no problem with that, but I need to decompress. That's totally fine. Or you could say, look, I like you a lot. I want to keep being with you. And I'm very much fundamentally not going to be able to do that if you keep telling me a bunch of garbage and a bunch of bullshit that does not matter. Mm-hmm. If you keep jabbering in my ear for 30 minutes a day about complete and utter fucking nonsense, I'm going to have to find somebody else that I can actually stand to be around, and I'm going to have to leave you. That's what you're going to have to say. But either way, you need to be honest with her and tell her, look, this is something that is harming me personally because I am getting upset about it. And you're not doing it maliciously, and you're not doing it out of some sort of way of controlling me or anything. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just not fitting my lifestyle. That's what you have to do. You have to say to her, either we have to stop this completely, because otherwise I'm going to yank my own thumbs off of my own hand with my own set of pliers, or you have to say, you can keep sticking these bamboo shoots in my fingernails, but I need you to do that at 6 o'clock, not at 5:30, because I need to prepare myself for the torture that I am about to endure. Right? You have to say something to her, because otherwise you're just getting mad at her and it's unfair. And as somebody who is very, very good at getting mad at somebody for something that they have no idea about, they have no concept that I am churning with unlimited and unfettered frustration on the inside. And I will inevitably blow up at them in very short order at the drop of a dime at something that is seemingly meaningless and completely unrelated to what I'm actually upset with them about, that may or may not actually be their fault in the first place. I will tell you, it's not somebody who's fun to be with. As somebody who does that to other people on a consistent basis, like constantly, including and up to this day, that's part of my personality. It's not something I can change. I've tried, and it turns out I'm stuck with it. And so I have to be very honest with that about other people, right? Like, hey, I'm going to get super pissed at you, and I'm not going to tell you. And then at some point, I'm just going to fucking blow up at you, and there's nothing you can do. Like, so you have to either understand that and be prepared for it and just brush it off, or you have to stop talking to me because it's going to happen to you. Like, I have to say that to people because it's not fair to them to do that, right? And so, and when I tell them, when I get mad at them, and when I do blow up and I do those things, I say to them, like, look, I'm not actually mad at you. I'm just telling you, like, this has been frustrating me. It's not your fault. I'm getting it out, and this is just how it is. And I have to be very honest about that. But that's the thing with this guy. Like, sorry, dude, you're stuck. It sucks, but you have to tell her, because otherwise you're getting mad at her, and it's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not, she shouldn't be taking the brunt of this based on something she doesn't even know she's doing. Because what she hears is, oh, my boyfriend is such a great listener, and all those things. She's probably bragging to her friends about how great of a listener you are and all of this stuff. And you're helping her out, and it's obviously very important to her, and it's something that she loves about you. Well, maybe, I don't know, super likes. I'm not really sure. I don't know how long they've been together. I don't know if they dropped the L-bomb yet. People do that likes, way too early, like so that's probably the case. But that's the problem, is that she is understanding this in one way and probably ignoring some signs, is my guess, because it's important to her, and it's unfair for you to be doing this. So you have to just be honest with you. You have to tell her. And by the way, if she likes you, she's going to understand, and she'll work with you. She'll figure it out.
Yeah.
People figure stuff out like that all the
time. It's highlighting the fact that people need to get their needs met in different ways. And like you said, if you're not telling someone a very simple way to get your needs met, and maybe the compromise is you do it twice a week on days where you aren't hanging out after. It sounds like that might be something that the poster can manage, because it bothers him, but it didn't seem to bother him until it was like every day. He put a lot of emphasis on every day. So it sounds like, hey, maybe as a conversation. And if she's unwilling to like bend on something like that, then there you have it. Like, she doesn't really care about any part of how your day is going. Yep. That conversation, that 30 minutes that she takes up of your day, is solely for her. Chances are that's probably not the case. That's probably part of her day where she feels connected to you, and that she's not like using you for it. Like you said, that's like that's something she's feeling fulfilled and that you guys are talking on the phone. Some people do need that. But if you say that, like, hey, your need for this is affecting my need for, you know, to recoup after a long day. Like, I'm an introvert, you're an extrovert. Like, I'm expending way too much energy to like then be able to have quality time when we're together later. You know, if she can't understand that, then like, yeah, you're still triggering that need to like find a different relationship. Because there are obviously other people that would listen to her because they like talking that much. And there's obviously other people that are not going to call you every single day because they don't want to. But I guess what is like kind of shocking is that this seems like a pretty basic conversation to have with your partner. But I do think it's little things like this where people don't know how to talk to someone else because they feel like it makes them an asshole for just saying something really simple that they need.
Yeah. Look, if it's part of your personality, just like people are always like, oh, you know, who cares what other people think? You should own it and whatever. It's so hard to do that. It's
It
genuinely
is.
difficult to do that. I will tell you, I mean, honestly, and I'm not a special case. I'm not, you know, whatever. I am a particular personality. I have a very specific personality. And there are a lot of people who are not enamored with my personality. They don't like how I am. They don't like what I do. They don't like the way I go about life. They don't, there's a lot of things about me that they don't like. And that's totally fine. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not accepted and all of that. So I have plenty of people who accept me and all of that stuff. What I'm saying is all of those people, all of those people who have accepted me before I accepted myself in saying I wasn't owning who I am and what I can't change about myself. And the secret is truly people who know you, they already see it. There are very, very few people in your life, very few, who will be genuinely shocked by any revelation that you think that you think you need to reveal. There's not that many people. If somebody is literally around you constantly and they're talking to you and they know you and they've heard your fears and your hopes and your dreams and all of those things, they already know. I don't care what your secret is. Honestly, I don't. I don't care what it is. They already know. They have some suspicion or they've seen it. They're not going to be completely blindsided. They just won't. They absolutely won't. They'll know something was wrong. They'll know that you had something that you were dealing with, whatever it was. So if you're like, oh man, I've been hiding this. No, you haven't. You just haven't. You haven't been hiding it well. You know, I used to think that. I have stuff going on in my head. I was like, man, I'm really good. I'm a magician hiding all of this. And then I was like, started telling people, you know, and I was like, hey, you know, I struggle with this thing and it's like a whole whatever and, you know, all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, dude, we know. Yeah, I've seen you punch walls and stuff. Like, yeah, you're a fucking psychopath. You know, like that, but they know because they know who I am. They've been around me. And it's not going to be that hard, you know. So to say this to her is not going to be I honestly don't think, I genuinely don't believe that this is going to be some revelation to her. She might be hurt by it. She might not love it because again, it's obviously important to her. But I don't think it's going to be something where she's like, well, I can't be with you anymore or whatever. And she might, and you might be like, well, you know, okay, then we can't be together, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys just won't be together, and it'll be cool. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But you have to say it, and that's the most important part: is to be, like you said, to be brave enough to own who you are and to say to somebody else, like, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, and I'm not calling myself brave in the way that like people are brave these days about doing, you know, all the stuff that they're brave about. And I'm not bashing those people. I'm saying I am not trying to equate myself with being brave. I'm saying it was hard the first time. It honestly, it really was. It was difficult the very first time to look somebody in the eye and say, I don't care about anything you're saying right now. I don't care. I have no desire to hear it. I don't want to continue to be in the same vicinity as you if you keep speaking the way that you're speaking right now, because it's all a bunch of nonsense to me that does not matter. That was really hard to do because I was afraid that other person was going to say, I don't want to be around you. You're not somebody I want in my life. It was hard to do. Now I say that all the time. Just constantly tell people that, just all the time. They'll start talking and I'll be like, I just honestly, I'm just not that interested in what you have to say. You can keep talking. I'm just telling you, you're probably not going to get the reaction you want. It takes time, it takes practice, all those things, but that's what you have to do. You have to be honest with yourself. And all the people who stuck around and all the people who still talk to me and all the people who still like me and all of those things, they understand that about me and they accept that. And all the people who don't, they understand that about me and they don't accept that. Both is fine. Both is completely fine. Because now I have people around me who understand who I am and they accept me for who I am, and I don't have to pretend to do anything. And guess what? I'm a lot happier. That's what this guy's doing.
Too,
he's struggling to accept who he is, and he's pretending. And it's hard to pretend. It just is.
Your friends that you told and you were honest with, we're glad that you were able to be open with them. It sounds like his girlfriend cares about him. Yep. And the fact that he's not being transparent with her might actually hurt her feelings a little bit.
100%.
You know what I mean? That more often than not, when you're doing stuff like that, where you're like, I want to change this part, this is not who I am, the people are more upset that you just couldn't tell them something seemingly so simple. Like, hey, I don't want to talk on the phone right after work.
Yep.
Literally the only time in my life I don't want to talk on the phone. And she's going to be like, how long have you felt this? And you're going to be like, forever. And she's going to be like, you felt this for a year and it took you a year to tell me that.
Yep.
I guarantee that's going to be a bigger thing than the phone conversation.
Yep. No, I totally agree. So just talk to her, man. Just talk to her. And anybody else who's listening who has something that you're not telling your partner or whatever, just talk to them. Just tell them whatever. If it breaks up the marriage, it breaks up the marriage, then honestly, it wasn't going to last. Like that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Words are what they are. Saying something to someone, words will never hurt me, right? Like that whole thing, like saying something to someone, if it breaks it, it wasn't going to last. That's a real thing. That's not a meme or whatever. That's a real thing. If you say something to somebody else and just say it and it breaks your relationship wasn't going to last. It was not, because relationships are based on actions, not words. Honestly, they are. And so if you're just saying something, like if she doesn't understand, well, hey, I get it, and I'm kind of mad that you didn't tell me that earlier, but you still went through the effort of trying to do this, and now you're just telling me like you've had enough. If she doesn't understand that part, then it wasn't going to work. So I don't know. That's what I would do. I think we did it. I think we got into it today. I think we helped this guy out. This is an unbelievable problem. Happens to everybody. I think you should start as early as possible. And if you can get in the habit of just telling people like you don't care about anything they're having to say, I'll tell you right now, you can get a lot less bullshit in your life. Like there's just so many people who don't talk to me about anything at all. They don't tell me anything whatsoever. And it is awesome. It's one of the best. Yeah. It's one of the best parts of being alive. They now call
people who want to talk about that, and then when they want to talk to you about things they know, they'll call you.
Yeah. And guess what?
Like you can have more than one people for different.
Yeah, 100%. And when they talk to me, they talk to me about real problems, about things that like actually affect their life, and those are things that I care about because those are real things. But all the bullshit that they tell me that doesn't matter, I tell them I don't care, and they stop talking to me about it, and it's awesome. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. I think you should do it. I think you should tell this girl, don't ever talk to me. We should just have sex. I think that's a great idea. But I don't know, up to you. Anyways, we appreciate people listening, watching, all of those things. Please share, like, comment, rate, review, all that stuff. It does help us out on the podcast, on YouTube, all that, on social media, everything. It helps us out. Please share us with other people. Spread the word. It's what we're trying to do. We will be back next time helping more people tell their girlfriends that nothing they say matters at all. That's what we're here to do. That's what this show does. We will see everybody then.